y'all doing? That guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. Got me one. Finally, big shout out to Hobby Zone for sending me the new Futura 64mm, brand new to the market. I would have had it a week ago, except for Hurricane Idalia, or whatever her name was, had different plans. But can't help that. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy unboxed. And let's put her together, because this is going to be a very simple build from the FMS video that I watched on it, and the other videos that have been out on it. Looks like it's going to be a very simple build. Alright, oh, they got the manual folded. Manual's folded. There's their first mark against them, but it's a small box, so I'll forgive them that. Now let's look over the specs real quick. On the box, I know it's got a 40 amp ESC, I remember that. Alright, for the, this is the FMS 64mm Futura. Power system is a 2840 kV 3150 brushless motor. I think it's an in-runner. I'd have to look. 40 amp ESC, 64mm in diameter, and it is 11 bladed prop. Should be very efficient. All metal suspension CNC landing gear. Oversized. It's got an oversized electronics bag, glueless assembly. Only put together with screws. Got the water-based paint. So water-based paint, you do that polyacrylic mod I tell you to do, because it'll seal that paint on it, give it a nice shine, and protect the model against, you know, your fingernails and stuff. Buckle lash design for the canopy won't come off. Okay. All right, let's put her together. Get her out and put her together. Now, this is comparable if you hold on. I wasn't quite prepared. I just y'all know me on my videos. It's just you know, by the seat of my pants sort of thing. If you're just not really ready for the big boy, or you're a little intimidated, or you're not really wanting to spend the money for the big boy, the big brother, then this is the one you'd want. So, but I will tell you, both these are licensed by the German, the Tomahawk design. They're both incredible. This one should be as good a flyer as this one's an amazing flying jet, and I highly recommend it if you're ready for the big 80mm. A lot of people don't like big jets because of the cost of the batteries, mainly, not so much the jet, but you know, a good 6S battery is going to run you the better part of $100, if not more, just depending on who you buy. So, and of course this one here does not have retracts, does not have lights. If it did, it's going to cost more. Like this is under $200, and nowadays a quality airplane under 200 bucks, that's good. That's unheard of. Most jets are 200. Most all airplanes now are pretty much 200 bucks or more as far as our foamies that we go. And so let's take. Like I said, everything is packed neatly. I mean, you can throw this off the back of a truck. Wing spar. Got your first wing. I love the silver is very, very bright, and so is this green. And the Minwax clear coat will bring that color out even more. Ball link already hooked up, so again, ease of assembly. Manual's not horribly folded, but it is laid in there sideways, but it won't bend. So that's really not this. I'll take that back, FMS. Your flap is labeled, so therefore the other one that's not labeled is your aileron. Yes, you've got flaps, so that is awesome. Nose cone is not magnetic, it just simply pops in. Same mechanism as on the 64, the Rafale, the 64 millimeter. Look what they're doing. They got the 80 millimeter Rafale, 64 millimeter Rafale. 80 millimeter Futura V3, 64 millimeter Futura. Pattern. What would be nice is if FMS, and I know they have, no they don't. If FMS would come out with a 64 millimeter A10, they got the big 80 millimeter or twin 70, maybe a 64, one that's got features and everything like this, and nice suspension. Gee, I wonder if that might happen. I really don't know. I'm really guessing. Isn't that cool? Ball links are got their good 9 gram digital servos. I don't know if no, they're not. I don't think they're metal, but this is a small plane. I don't think you necessarily need metal gilled servos for this. Horizontal stabilizer. Now these hinges are laminate. Now they're pinch hinges. They are laminate. So I probably will do the hold the phone treatment on them. Yes, laminate pinch hinge. So yes, I'll do the hold the phone treatment. All right. Pick it up by the battery latch in the rear of the fuselage. That is a good look. A little bit decent size too. A little bit bigger than I thought it would be actually. Which that's a good thing. Remember, the bigger the plane it is, the bigger the plane, the easier it is to see. Because even a plane that has a 8-foot wingspan is going to look like a speck once it's way up in the sky. Nose gear with a suspension. One of the mains, the other mains, and your huge, gigantic, incredibly intricate and complicated set of screws. Looks like, hold on, I can tell you. Looks like a nope, 1.5 millimeter. Wait a minute, that was a 2.5. 2.0, 2 millimeter hex drive will get this done. And it looks like all the screws, yes, all the screws are the same size. And like I've been seeing a lot lately with the FMS planes, little tags that are initialed showing the plane was inspected. That may not sound like much, but if you get enough of these planes, it is. That says something. They're taking the time to let you know that they've at least looked at it. Can't say that about Dynam. I mean, a lot of the old Dynam planes, I'm not even sure the person putting the plane together was awake. All right. Neat. And a rule of thumb, something I go by, you know, you can't be one. I don't throw the box away until I have put the plane together and I have flown the plane at least once. Then I'll throw the box away. Doesn't necessarily mean you can send the plane back once you've opened it, but that's just me. All right, let's take a look at this gigantic good size battery bay. Obviously your takes the 2200 up to a 2700 4S. Everything is labeled. The XT60 on the now I don't like that. Look how short that is. That's just right there. So you're gonna have to, that ESC is probably secured in there. Looks like it's secured in there. I don't know, let's see if I can pull it forward in. Oh good, yeah, okay, hey, yeah. They'll come forward a little bit. So you do have a little bit more wiggle room. I can bring it forward a little bit more. Nope, that's pretty much, oh, that's enough there. All right. Put that back on. You'd already have a Velcro strap. Sorry about the beeping, I got batteries going. And this plane has reversing. Now, all right. If you look on your ESC wire, your throttle, okay, you're gonna see a little yellow pigtail coming off the throttle cable. Plug that into an open channel on your receiver of choice, and that's your reverse function. All right, so let's just go ahead. Oh, and also when you're putting these models together, if you do enough of these, you'll realize that you're going to have little screws, and they're going to go all over the place. Get these little magnetic trays. So I'm going to take all of them screws, open up that little baggie, and I'm going to put them all in there. And look, those screws that were in that baggie, they're not going anywhere. They are not going to go anywhere. Okay. Take a look at our manual real quick. I've read the manual online countless times. Okay, we're going to start with our wings, our wingy dingies. For this, I like to use a plane stand. Now, or you can use a pillow. These are Ernst brand, I think it says, plane stands. I love them. I absolutely love them. They are lifesavers. Absolute lifesavers. Okay. All right, y'all see where I put my wing spar at? Right there. Okay. Put your wing spar in like that. Twist. Lots of times when these wing spars are tight, you don't go through. Kind of do a twisting action as you put them in. Okay. Now you're going to need. Let's take a look and see if we've got. Okay, good. Your connectors are hidden. Just inside that little pocket right there. So you'll need to fish them out. Now these little tools right here, little grabber tools, you can get these at Walmart, the hardware store. They're just, see that little end there? Just make life so much easier when you've got these kind of things. You reach in there, hopefully reach in there, and you can grab those wires. Instead of digging there with a bigger blender tool, you can get some that's a little bit smaller and pull them wires out. Kind of acts as a free wing, go get them wire, but just as in a tool. All right. So I'm going to put this wing on here. I'm going to slide it onto the spar. I'm going to connect my wires. I knew that my flap, remember anytime you're putting servos together, 2 leads, light to light, dark to dark. That's the polarity. Light to light, dark to dark. And they have these nice locking mechanisms, which makes life nice. If you have a model and you're going to put 2 servo leads together and it doesn't have these locking mechanisms, there's little clips that you can buy that just kind of fit like a glove on the outside of that. Different companies make them. Get them on Amazon. I don't see my box of them, or my little bag. I'm not showing to you. Otherwise, if you don't want to, they're like $10 for 30 of them. Otherwise, you can take a piece of Scotch tape. I wouldn't use electrical tape because it's too heavy. But some Scotch tape and wrap that around. Okay. Make sure your wires aren't jumped or bundled. Okay, and then just pop that in there like that. You're going to take your other wing. You're going to put it on there. Going to do the flap to flap, Remember, light to light, dark to dark. Light to light, dark to dark. Okay. You feel a little, kind of a satisfying little clip, a little pop-in sound when those servo leads connect on those clips, when they clip in there together correctly. You get a little sound, a little feel, and that's good. That's what you want. Make sure your wires tuck in there good. Okay, not crimped. Okay. Sometimes you do have to finagle your wires a little bit. All right, now I'm going to take your 2mm hex drive. Remember, you're going to feel it, you're going to make it all the way down. You'll feel it kind of bottom out, nice and tight. And then off half a turn. Always connect where you got like a multi-point connection here. Always crisscross your pattern, just like whenever you're changing a tire. You're putting the tire back on. Hear that? That's tight. And that's what you want. Okay, then off half a turn. And the reason I say off half a turn is to allow for heat expansion, and that kind of helps to lock that screw in place. Never use Loctite on foam model where the Loctite could get to the foam. Okay, now there may be some foam or something stuck in there, but that's not wanting to thread in. Usually all you have to do is blow in there a little bit. Okay, one more screw, bits are done. Now, let me show you something. Pro tip. All right, you got two pieces, put them together, and you look in there and you see the channel's not quite lining up right. You're not going to be able to see it on camera, it's not going to focus, but I can see in there and I can tell that my channel is a little off. All right, so what you do in that case, you know that back is already, and this could be either side, okay? Use this back one as my pivot point, using my body to try to lock that in, using that as a pivot point, and now that, I can just see that screw just dropped in. You know, use the other screw that you've got, and you can do it even if you don't have screws in there. You can kind of push one in and then use that as a pivot point to push the front one or the back one, and just depend on which one's not lining up for you. All the way down and then off half a turn. All right, and that wing is on there. So let's turn our attention to the tail feathers. All right, you got your rudder up here, elevator's back here. Everything is nice and labeled for you. So let's go from the top, from the bottom up. We're going to put the horizontal stabilizer, otherwise known as elevator, on first. Now, just to show you about that water-based paint, that little bit of tape that I just pulled the tape off on, that little bit of tape pulled that paint off. So what's that tell you about what your nails and other models piled on top of this, what that's going to do to the paint? That's why I recommend let me just show you the product real quick. A lot of people say, well, what are you talking about? I can't find what you're talking about. This is Minwax polyacrylic clear gloss. That's what I use. That's what I use to do my what I call skin treatment. All right. Servo side down. Okay. Remember, you hook up light to light, dark to dark. I'll show you on the other one up close. It pops in. Now, if I can bring this over to the camera. This is where my camera lady is upstairs sleeping. Okay. See the light color? Okay. And on the other elevator lead, the light side, those are the two that I'm going to line up. Light to light, dark to dark. That's your polarity. And your servo lead may be white and red, okay? Well, your signal wire is that red one. And your negative or your positive is your light color. Or actually, I said the other way around. The red is your positive, okay? Well, that didn't click in, so there we go. Yeah, that's it. All right, kind of shove those wires back down in there. It's okay if you kind of fold them in on themselves. That's no big deal. Even at this point, if you have to cut the labels off to give yourself a little bit of room, that's fine too. One thing you can do is reach up in there, grab a hold of them elevator wires, wherever they're at, elevator, and kind of, see, watch them wires, see, kind of pull on them a little bit, there you go, that'll help seat that down in there. Grab my two screws. I love whenever designers make these models and they all use the same size screw. That just makes us people who assemble these planes happy, happy, happy. Alright. Oh, I got one there. Excuse the beeping, that's my batteries. They're saying, we're done, we're done. Alright, you know what? Didn't quite fill off half of it. Okay. Alright. Rudder. Same thing. Light to light, dark to dark. Feel it click in the retaining clip. I think that's what they're called. I think they're called retaining clips. Servo retaining clips. Now, if that wire's bunching up on you, reach up here. Find your rudder, lead. Give that just a gentle, don't yank on it, just a nice gentle pull. Pull that wire on through. It is better for you to deal with a bundle down here than there'll be a bundle up in the fuselage somewhere that you can't even get to. And that fits down in there tight. That's what you want. Looks like we're getting an extra screw. All right. We'll go in there like that. One on each side. Oh, there's already my nails have already took a chip of paint off. That just shows you. That just shows you. All right. So what it shows you is the water-based, the water-based paint may be eco-friendly and get some really great colors. It's very fragile. That's why I recommend again. Hold the foam. It's just like putting when you go to the beach and you go out and you work outside any length of time, you're going to put a sunscreen on to protect your skin, right? Well, guess what? Heat and sunlight does to foam. Makes it expand, makes it gator. Fades the paint. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 times. I'm talking about long-term exposure. Okay, but look right there, that white speck right there, caught it with my nail. All right, turn the puppy over. Turn the puppy over. We're going to grab our main gear. Okay, now I don't know if the wheels face out or face in. The wheels open out. In other words, this, you see the structure goes down and underneath the wheel here. This is the opened outside. So this is the opened outside goes to the out of the wing. So you're going to see this structure here. Okay? And there's a hole there to the outside. Okay? You're going to drop the long little peg end here, this little end here, into that hole. Like, I'm going to try to anyways. Go ahead and do this one over here. Okay? You're going to swing it around and hear that clip in. Okay? Swing it around. Make sure it's in there. Of course, mine's going to be obstinate. Okay. When you have one, yes, it's bent just a touch. So let's. There. See? I was going in the wrong way. Now, that's how that should look when it's in. See the open, the metal structures on the inside, it opens to the outside. Also makes it easier to service the wing. All right, now let's turn our attention to the front here. Now, you're going to have, you got little grub screws on either side. Hopefully, and you do, on this shaft here, this is your little peg here coming out, is what that is going to slide onto with, see how the wheels kind of turn angled back? That direction, back, towards the back of the plane. You're going to need a small Allen wrench. I can't tell you what size that is, but it's just a little Allen wrench. Well, you're going to unscrew these. Don't take them all the way out. Just unscrew these grub screws enough where it slides on the shaft of that with no problem. Okay. Now, see how this can kind of be pushed in or pull it all the way out. Let's make sure we can get a, okay. If you look, see that mechanism up in there? You'll see this metal shaft that kind of comes up through the bottom there. Put your finger, reach in there and put your finger on it to where it doesn't come this way. Okay? Put your finger on there. Kind of hold that in place while you put this on. Paying attention to where those flat sides are. And it should find that flat spot and lock into it. Now let me get the thing started. I have to take my finger off of that for a second. Okay. Let me put the finger back in there. Okay, that should find that flat spot. Oh, it found it. Tighten that down. Come over here. Shouldn't really have to hold it, but I'm going to anyways, just because. All right. Now a lot of people say, well, why don't you put some foam or some Loctite on there because of this outer foam here. Loctite. Now they do sell foam safe Loctite. And Loctite's just a brand. It's just a glue that helps lock down Loctite metal to metal connection. And see, I'm kind of turning that servo a little bit to make sure that's good and tight. Using the longer end for leverage because this is your steering mechanism, so it needs to be tight. Remember, right tight, left loose. Okay. All right, that's in there. Okay. Turn them all over. Put our wires back in there, man. Love the canopy. And they, oh, that's going to really look good in the sky. And that pops in. And there you go, folks. That is the FMS Futura 64mm, the little brother to the big brother. I want to see something real quick. Oh, look at it. And see, here's another sign of quality. They know, okay, what did that jet do when I set it down with no battery in it? And that's the way it's going to sit on your concrete, on your pavement, on your grass. It's going to sit like that when you don't have a battery in it. They know that. They listen to viewers and owner, and they got a hard plastic piece there for that to sit on, painted to match. Those are little things that are quality. Folks, thank you for watching. This is the FMS Futura 64mm with 11 bladed fan. Cannot wait to fly it. Cannot wait to finish this up. And we'll be right back. Stay tuned for the next video. Will be the radio setup for this. Now, I'll be using an AR620 Spectrum antenna receiver, and I'll show you how to do reverse thrust. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless y'all. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then Jets. And a shout out to Hobby Zone again for sending this out to me to do this wonderful stuff with. Thank you. Bye, y'all.